So often after working so hard on a project or a goal, we feel empty, depressed, stressed, and all in all, terrible about ourselves and the world. Why do we feel like this after success? Isn't the least reward of achieving a goal the feeling of happiness and contentment? This is Emma's story. Today is Emma's PhD Viva, a very important day for her. 5 years she's been working on this project. 5 years she has poured all her energy and effort into it. So many days she had cried out of despair. So many days she had thought the project would never end. But it is all finished now. She has arrived. The Viva goes very well. For 2.5 hours, Emma brilliantly answers all of the examiners' challenging questions. Both examiners are very satisfied with her work. At the end of the Viva, everyone congratulates her and calls her doctor. She feels thrilled for the first few moments after the Viva, but suddenly a gnawing sensation arises in her body, as if the air is getting heavier and heavier on her chest. As if something is scratching her stomach, as if the ground under her feet is gone. What now? Why don't I feel happy? What's wrong with me? She wonders. Everyone in her family and her group of friends and her colleagues saw Emma as a successful person. But there was always a void in her, like a black hole, that swallowed whatever she achieved. After each achievement, she was left with a feeling of emptiness and anxiety and often depression. The feeling would stay in her until she found a new project, something bigger, something that actually promised real happiness and success. Writing a book, publishing papers, having 1,000 and then 100,000 or 1,000,000 subscribers on her YouTube channel. But every single time, no matter how hard achieving that success was, she was in the same dark place, wondering now what? The black hole swallowed all the feelings of contentment and happiness from her achievements. What is this feeling? Why do we feel empty after achieving a big goal? Why, when we arrive, the magic of that big goal vanishes? After a quick research, I found out that there is a fancy name for this feeling. The arrival fallacy. The arrival fallacy is the illusion that you will be happy if you achieve a goal. The main lesson to get from the psychologists who named the arrival fallacy is that don't think that you will reach happily ever after if you achieve a big goal. So focus on the journey and not the goal. I think there is a problem here. It is not true that we always feel empty and terrible after achieving any goal. It is true that in some cases, success and achieving a goal is followed by emptiness, but there are also times that we feel happy and content after finishing a project. For example, when I'm writing a story or a poem only and only for myself, without thinking about who will ever read it, I am filled with happiness after finishing it. I'm sure many of you are also familiar with that sweet feeling of happiness and calm contentment with those achievements that are meaningful for your own self. Now the question is that how is it that sometimes we feel empty after achieving a goal and sometimes we feel happy and full? The answer lies in why we pursue a certain goal or activity. Sometimes the project or goal that we choose to achieve is not for its own sake, but for achieving another state, such as money, social status, approval, or recognition. So such a goal has an instrumental purpose for us. We want A to achieve B. But here is where the problem lies. When we want something instrumentally, it usually serves to fill a void in us. When we achieve such goals, we feel empty because of the void in us that shouts, "Nobody cares, you're nothing, this is nothing." The void is created by our biggest fears: fear of not being approved, fear of not being important, fear of not being good enough. It is an illusion that any achievement can fill the void. No success can ever do that. When Emma passed her Viva with success, she felt empty because the approval she got from her examiners, supervisors, and colleagues turned out to be insignificant. The reason was that all the expected happiness was swallowed by the void in her. She expected to feel special after her PhD, like she has done something important and now she's on top of the world. Watch me how special and important I am. But this did not happen. She did not feel on top of the world. She was not the center of the world. The approval she received from the examiners was lost in the void in her fear of not being important. What remained was a bitter feeling of groundlessness and a bleak sense of defeat. She was left with her fear of being unimportant, that she's a nobody, and nobody cares about her project. But there are times when we pursue a goal without expecting a reward. You do not expect to achieve B by achieving A. A is good because I love it, because I enjoy doing it. That's all. For Emma, it was when she sat down to paint. After finishing a painting, she felt content and happy. Her work did not need an audience. She did not expect to feel any void in her by doing it. It was a pure love to pursue an activity. She merely enjoyed doing it, even if the whole world did not approve or care. So the emptiness after a big success does not come from the illusion that A will make me happy, but rather from the illusion that A will fill the void in me. The void is created by our fears, but nothing fills the void. The void needs attention all by itself. It needs our attention. You must face those fears and deal with them. Do not set goals that are not true to yourself, goals that vanish in the air when they become real. Nobody and nothing can fill the void. It is on us to face the void in ourselves. Do not be afraid of it. Jump in it and find yourself in there. Rescue yourself who is drowning in a pool of fears. No project, no goal, and no success is more important than embracing and living your true self. But the lives of some of us are antique collections of projects and successes. When we stand on top of the world with our collection of successes, we will see that we have not taken a step away from the void in ourselves, and that is why we feel empty after a big success.